Mind, gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. Gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Raidinaire, and we are back at it again with another episode of Future Financial Strategies. Let's jump in. First, we got a little bit of housekeeping. We're keeping the momentum going on these episodes because, you know, we're churning out the content for you, and this is probably as remedial as it's going to get outside of breakdowns of specific strategies, which we will be revisiting in 2025, because obviously Future Financial Strategies, we should be talking about the strategies that we're using and the update on the utilization and how we're applying it and how the results that we're getting. Obviously, we do our monthly results updates, but once we're through this tax window and we get full bore back into the strategies, we're gonna just be going to the moon. But first and foremost, we want to make sure you like the video on your way in. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys that are tapping in, that are watching, that are taking in the content. Hopefully you're chewing the meat, spitting out the bone. Whatever's useful, use it. Whatever doesn't, don't, because obviously I'm experimenting with my money. So hopefully that you don't have to. You can kind of pick and choose the things that I'm talking about that work for you and your financial situation, plan, and strategy. If you've been here more than twice, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe, because then you will also get notified when these premiere. You will also get the community post updates for when I'm doing my live streams on my other channel, which is the channel that I used to live stream. I get in a lot of trouble over there. So we had to parse these out so that people would see my videos, which is crazy that you have to do that, but it's just the way that it is with the algorithm and the speech that is supposed to be free, whatnot. But over here, it's all bag talk all the time. So if I'm doing a live stream that is involving money, I definitely make it known on this channel as well, so that you guys can tap in and, get some questions answered live by old Reckless Raidinaire. We might actually just do some money-focused live streams over here. I think that'd probably be the better bet, and then I can just let everybody on the other channel know that I'm doing it, or multi-stream it over there. Something. We'll figure that out. I'm pretty sure it's going to involve us bringing back Guns and Butter, and it might just live on this channel, and we'll restream it over there. That aside, we're going to jump into it. So last time we talked about what happens when you get to $1,000. Now, keeping this in line, okay? Because now we're making big jumps. We're adding zeros on, right? And then adding zeros on the next progressive step, because like I said, once you hit that $1,000 mark, that's not the end of the game. It's not over. It's not over. Once you hit that $1,000 mark, you keep doing what you did to get the $1,000 to get the next batch of money. And what we're looking at is the next big metric point, at least for me in my deal. Like I said, I like to add the zero onto the one. You start off at $1. That really wouldn't be a worthwhile video, because you just have $1. I mean, it's great, but you really got no wiggle room. Then you get to $10. You feel good about 10. You got a little, you still can't really do much. You can't do much. You can buy some fractional shares. You can open up a Robinhood. You can start your baby brokeraging, maybe. Some of you guys might do that. You can do some stuff in Cash App, because you can buy fractional shares over there. Huge Cash App fan. I love Cash App. It's kind of my favorite. And then you get to 100. And so we started with 100, because that's a milestone. That's actually really hard if you're used to being at zero. 100 is hard. Now, once you get used to being at 100, 1,000's actually hard. It's not easy to get to 1,000 and be stable at 1,000. Just being able to hold on to $1,000, looking in your bank account, if you keep it that way, which we don't use the slow lane over here, but some of you will. And I understand, because you can't tell everybody. Everybody's running their own race. But over here in the Wolf Pack, we kind of have a faster pace than most normal people. So for those of you who are fully in, you're on board, you're bought in with the Wolf Pack, you're part of the pack, we out here, we're going at a little faster pace than most people. So, but some of y'all going to be in the slow lane, and that's fine. Just stay in your lane. Like, you might want to get out of it, get into the middle lane, something. We talked about that. But seeing that $1,000 and being able to not spend it requires discipline, because we're constantly bombarded with buy. You got to get this. You got to go impress this. You got to get the Jordans. I actually bought my first pair of Jordans for New Year's. I wore them with my suit. And this is my first pair of J's, man. Like, and I bought it. I got the suit, like it was a chill event. It was cool. I had fun. The shoes were comfortable. I did enjoy them. Does that mean I'm going to have 14 pairs of Jordans? Absolutely not. I got one pair, black and gold, and they're cool. And I like them. It's my first pair of J's, man. Like, I'm like a grown man now. Like, I feel like I've passed a barrier, because like I'd always like, those were the shoes that I always wanted. Like, I never could have, like, we couldn't afford them when I was a kid. Like, we didn't have money like that. Like, I never necessarily wanted for too much, but like, we just didn't have the nicest stuff. Like, I never had a pair of J's. Like, I used to get clown for my shoes when I was a kid. Now I got J's. Like, it's great. Going back and just healing those childhood wounds via financial therapy, one purchase at a time. But getting to that 1,000, big deal. And getting to the hundreds, a big deal too. And like I said, you should celebrate. But this next one is a pivot point for me. And I got a special place in my heart for it, because moving, I'd say all of 2024, for the longest time, $10,000 for probably, I'd say, the last 5 years or so. $10,000 has been my opportunity fund. So I'm constantly in a game of saving up $10,000 and then redeploying it somewhere else into a faster lane. So for me, that's going, oh, okay, we're gonna save up in Bitcoin, like we did the house savings. That was a $10,000 goal. So the house savings for what we're doing is we're going to do some repairs around the house. And our goal was to get to $10,000. And what do? We saved it up in Bitcoin, which was an accelerated savings plan. And as we were doing that, hold up a second. And as we're doing that, we're going to, it's a pivot point for me, because like after I get to $10,000, like now I can make some moves. So like, for instance, the first time we saved up $10,000, we put a down payment on a house. That was one of the goals. It was like, that was when I got this place back in the beginning of 2019, beginning of COVID. I bought a place, decided I wasn't going to rent anymore. And that was the first $10,000, and it was rushed. It was very much rushed. And then over the course of that next 5 years, we kept resaving the $10,000 opportunity fund, but we were doing it in crypto. We were doing it in DeFi. So those numbers ran up pretty quick. Then we started kind of dabbling with some of the future financial strategies. I started learning about credit card arbitrage. I started dabbling with that. Then that became, I could front myself $10,000 and just pay it back. So now every 5 months or so, I get to give myself $10,000. Up until when I got injured. And then when I got injured, we still had a loan out, and we took out another $8,000 loan. And so now we're paying back that mess, and we're not necessarily playing the $10,000 game yet, but we are working on getting back to it. That's the reason we are trying to steamroll through the current debt. We are doing Debt Crusher. There's going to be some new cards added. We've had some things and stuff going on. And so that's about to get interesting, but we're about to get locked back in, because there's a couple of very pivotal things that we've got going for this year that are going to be very large purchases. Upgrading my computer, which you can see part of it here, was a large purchase, and I consider a large purchase anything over $250 basically. And the reason I really parse those out very sparingly. So like my last computer upgrade, I think was like probably about 4 years ago, was the old MacBook Pro. And like I bought that one. It wasn't the latest and greatest. This one's not the latest and greatest either, but it's a marked upgrade from the one that I had. I stopped upgrading my phone every year. That was like a ridiculous thing. But like now that I've got my phone on an annual plan, which I'm probably going to do a breakdown on that because I've been testing out Mint Mobile. I love it. And so I'm probably going to do a breakdown on it as far as future financial strategies goes, because I think breaking away from the traditional carrier, unless you need all the bells and whistles that are given with said carrier, could be a way to, save yourself a grip of money. Because I went from having $100 a month payment to about $35 a month payment with the same phone benefits. I mean, the service is comparable, and for what I'm doing with it, like I don't know what everybody else is doing with their phones, but it's served me fine. I need phone, texting, and internet. Like that's really all I need. I just need the phone. I need it to send text messages. I need it to receive phone calls, and I need the internet. And most of my internet, for my job anyways, I'm on a Wi-Fi network anyway. So like I'm usually kind of sipping internet most of the time. Now, when I was in DC, I was using a lot of just the phone data. But with that said, it still ran very well. So the savings on that and being able to just pay my phone for a year out and not have to worry about seeing that bill again for a long time, we're definitely locked in on that. So I think I might be upgrading my phone soon. Now, normally when I upgrade the phone, I do get the latest and greatest. I'm a phone fanatic. I'm the type of person who used to want to upgrade his phone every year or 6 months, and I would just buy the phone outright. And since I buy the phone outright, we're gonna set ourselves up for success on that, and we're probably gonna have a phone bill / upgrade portfolio that will kick us off some money, so that way we can do that. I don't need it every year. I need it every 2 to 3 at this point, but we're about there for that. But the main thing is we're getting a new vehicle, so we've got to get that debt pared down, because I am not adding debt on top of that debt at all. Like that's just not in the stars for me. So what we're doing is we're gonna work our way towards getting the mess cleaned up, and then we're gonna move forward. But anyways, I keep going on these tangents. I'm sorry, guys. $10,000 is coming back around because that was the opportunity fund for the house this year. And instead of just liquidating the Bitcoin, going straight into buying a ton of upgrades or fixing as many things as I can, which is honestly what we were looking at doing. Because house maintenance, it's part of being in a house. Plus, you like want to upgrade stuff to kind of like make it more yours. And like I did paint when I got here. Got a new hot water heater, which was cool. And then I saw way cooler ones, and I was like, man, I should have sprung for a cooler one, but I didn't know they existed at the time. But if I ever have to replace my hot water heater again, I know what I'm getting. I'm gonna get a cool one. Like we've got a couple of things that we want to repair, some upgrades. Just creature comfort upgrades. Like it's about time to kind of mature the space up a little bit. And but instead of just liquidating it and going, hey, I've got this pool of $10,000 and just spending it, we're transitioning it from Bitcoin over into the income portfolio and along the lines of our Bitcoin standards. So we're going to be putting it in a MISTI position and moving forward from there. And so then what does that mean? That means we're going to take the income that portion of the position generates, and that's going to be our repair. And we're actually just going to start parsing it out systematically. So it's like, okay, we move this over 1 to 2 months, depending on how much the repair is, or whatever that project's going to cost. And we'll just parse that out. Cause then after we have the repairs done and the upgrades done, we still have that asset that's kicking off money, which is the goal here. We're trying to make sure everything is in the fastest lane possible. Now, as far as savings goes, that was a very great performance. It was like 130 something % when we started transitioning over, and we're sitting up over 100% now, which is great. It's a great place to be. Can't speak highly enough of Bitcoin. I don't like selling it. It's kind of the issue. And it's just, I don't like selling it is the truth. Like I'm dollar cost averaging out of the position now unhappily. And like the numbers are good right now. Like we're up over 100%, and I'm just like, it's nice to get more in the Misty position though, because like I love seeing those Misty shares stack up, and I like getting that dividend every month. Like that's also nice, but I had to sell the Bitcoin. That hurt my feelings. But $10,000 is a good pivot point. Now, by the time you've got to $10,000, you should have a good, healthy amount of savings. Now, the $10,000 game really breaks down to roughly about $800 a month is basically what it is. Like if you save up $800 a month, you'll turn $10,000 a year. Or is it $400? Hold on. Let's take a look. Let's look at this. So if you're on a 12-month basis, if you start right now, you need to save, $833 a month. So $833 a month, which if you split that off your paychecks, so like me, when I was playing this game before we just started having to bedlam knockout debt, we were looking at basically about every... What was it? Because when we were doing the credit card arbitrage was when I had the best metric on this. And that was because I was pulling $10,000 on a 0% loan with like 3.5 to 4.5% upfront that you paid for. So it's basically 3.5, 4% flat. And what that means is when you take out the loan from your credit card, they send that. Well, at least my credit cards, they normally send me a check, these blank checks, and I just write one to myself, and I take a picture of it with my bank account, and then $10,000 magically appears in the bank. It's actually pretty nice. So what they do is they so you take $10,000 times 0.035. So they're giving me $10,000 for $350. That's the flat service charge, and you normally have about 12 to 16 months to pay it back. I don't wait that long. What I personally do is I'll pay it back as fast as I possibly can. So getting into dividends, high yield dividends specifically, the play was I would take the $800 a month that I was saving up for the $10,000 anyway, direct that back towards paying my loan back. And then I would also take the dividends that were getting made and use that to pay the loan back. And at the time, I was cycling through these loans roughly it was like 5-6 months. So every 5-6 months, I would write myself another check. They would send me out some more checks, be like, hey, you want to borrow some more money? And I'd say, yes, I do want to borrow some more money. I know what to do with it. Because they're like, we got all this extra money around here. Reckless, rate, and narrow. Do you know what to do with it? I was like, yeah, I know what to do with it. Rinse and repeat. And since I'm paying it back, now the deal is, and I know people are going to jump on my neck about this. Oh, well, like you shouldn't do that. People literally do take these same blank checks to go on vacation. You don't get nothing back from going on vacation at all. At all. They'll take it and they'll go buy rims. You ain't selling them rims for more than what you bought them for. They'll take that same check and buy $10,000 in Jordans. But I got to be careful because I'm taking $10,000 that I can pay back with the check money in 12 months. And it's okay from my W-2 and go buy an asset to help pay that back in 5 months and then do it again. We over here printing. Now, I'm not saying that everybody should do that. If you're not financially smart, intelligent, you don't have a narrative or a plan, that could be dangerous for you. And I'm not going to say that it's not. But again, if you belong in the slow lane, you got to stay there until you get out of it, until you're ready to move on. I mean, that's the reason that Dave Ramsey exists with his terrible advice that goes slow. That's slow lane. You got him. You got all of his little minion gurus out there that just hate on everybody that's doing anything, anybody that's printing any kind of way that's not the way that they advocate for. They just hate on it, which is fine. I'm fine with that. But on that same note, over here in the Wolfpack, we are trying to be in a faster lane. So like we're using all tools available to move ourselves ahead in this space because opportunity and time waits for no man or woman or they, them, whatever. It's not waiting. And so what we're doing over here is I'm putting out the gems, whether you like me, don't like me, agree with me, don't agree with me, you at least going to get the game because I'm going to beat you at it anyway. Because I'm doing this stuff. Most of you just watch this, feel good, and walk away, which is cool. Also fine. But what we're trying to do over here is get ourselves into a better place. Now, the importance of the $10,000 is law of large numbers. You make 10% on $10,000, you made $1,000. How you piece together the $10,000 is on you. You can save it in cash in the bank in the slowest lane possible. And every time you get to $10,000, you move it over. I do that with my in-home banking pool of money. Starts off small. After this loan's paid back, we're gonna kick it up again and then move over every. So with the in-home banking pool, the game for that's $1,500. But like, it's having, like, if you wanted to save up in your savings account, once you got to $10,000, then you go find an investment. Totally fine with that. You add a little spice to it. You save it up in the market. You save it up in the S&P 500. Get a little bit of dividend on it. Wait till it gets to $10,000. Move it into something that's faster. There's a lot of ways you can do this, but the $10,000 in and of itself, you're going to feel good about that. You're going to feel proud. You're going to start like feeling yourself. Your chest's going to be out a little bit. You're going to have your head up a little bit higher. You know what I'm saying? You're going to like walk in places like flexing, you know? It's going to be a little bit of a different vibe at 10 because you can make a bigger play, which is important. Like, you can just do more stuff. Like, if you want to get into a stock position, you can buy more of that stock. You want to start getting into dividend investing? Now, honestly, if you do the high yield, if you go high yield like I am, you full degen out here in these streets, it's going to be a little bit of a different play because it gets interesting. $100 a month extra is interesting to me. If I can make $100 in dividends and I can redistribute those dividends as needed, and I can be in charge of manipulating that income, that's interesting to me. But at $10,000, you pulling some money, like you making over 100. You for sure making over 100, and in the high yield space, like you can trip and fall into that. Like, a lot of people accidentally come into high yield dividends and they accidentally make $1,000 and they think they're doing something. And you know what they say? There's nothing worse than somebody who doesn't know what they're doing getting it right on accident, because it gives you a false sense of confidence. But they get it, and then once the volatility of the market starts setting in on them, they start feeling some type of way. Things start feeling different. They're not happy. But as they're doing those plays, they're able to generate that money. And like, if you got $10,000 to throw around, like, you might run into some NAV erosion that doesn't make you feel good, but like the income on it, if you're doing right with the income, man, you got enough money to play with. You get into a good stock position, you got enough money to play with. Like, I honestly think I'm getting ready to start moving up what my position sizes are within my traditional finance portfolio for 2025. Once we get over this, get these taxes taken care of and this debt cloud off our back, I'm gonna be re-ing up positions, a lot of positions on stuff. Like, if I move into a position, it's gonna be probably about a couple of $1,000s now, because previously it's $1,000. Like, I'm like, now that we're gonna be generating some income, especially income that I should be predominantly reinvesting, I'm not looking at doing anything with that money besides running the numbers up. Like, that's just going to be investment money. Oh, but the taxes, like, yeah, I'll pay taxes. Like, it's all going to be in investments anyways. Like, unless I do a bad job, and even if I do a bad job, I'll have stocks to sell off to pay that. So, yeah, no, like, it's kind of what it is. Like, we're hoping to pay all of our taxes with the dividends, but I know moving forward, at least the way that this portfolio is building out right now and the amount of focus I have on it right now, that we're going to be paying taxes. Like, that's just a given. But using those $10,000 opportunities, you just keep building it up and building it up and building it up. And then we'll get to next week where we talk about what happens the next leg up, because the next leg up is a pivot point, and it's a pivot point, and it's going to be the last one in the series because I haven't gone past this point yet. Because I'm not going to pontificate about stuff I haven't experienced. I'm not going to pontificate about things I don't know about from experience. But the next leg up, which is where I'm currently at, you start getting there's some major opportunities that you start running into once you get to the next leg up from $10,000. The opportunities that you're getting with these $10,000 plays, though, are massive because they're building up for the next step. And that's the reason at $10,000, your perspective and let's talk about what actually changed before we get out of here. Your investment perspective, like you should have, I'd say by the time you get to $10,000, you should have a lane. You should know kind of where you're going to have your core focus at the onset. You know what you should have an idea what you're about to try to do, especially on the first one, because like you're probably going to fail a little bit. You're going to have some bad plays. You're going to follow some investments. They're not going to go well. You're going to lose a little bit of money. But at $10,000, you can get hit and still be in the game. At $1,000, you can get hit and still be in the game, but like it hurts. And like it just hurts. But at $10,000, you should kind of had something sorted out. You at least know how to get $10,000. So your confidence changes. How does your confidence change? Once you save up $10,000, you know you can save up $10,000. That's literally the name of the game. Like after I saved up $10,000, I never worry about saving up $10,000 ever again. If I need to save $10,000, I know exactly how to do it. If I started from zero and needed to get $10,000, I could get it way faster than I did the first time around, because in the process of saving up that first $10,000, you got to start getting creative. I mean, you can just do it the slow way and save $800 a month in the slow lane in your savings account. That is an option. But I mean, it's the slowest option, but even then you at least know that like, 12 months from now, I'll have another $10,000. I can start again next year. You blow the whole 10, you lose it all in the market. You should have learned something if you lost $10,000 in the market. I'm just saying. And if you put all $10,000 in a coin with a dog on it, or called fart coin, or any of these meme coins, that is on you, and you don't know what you're doing. But you do know that in 12 months from now, if you keep saving at the same clip that you're saving, you'll have another $10,000. So there's that confidence. What else changes? Your perspective on investments, because unless you saved it all in the slowest lane, you've probably been making some plays. You probably started making plays at $1,000, which I'm an advocate for. I'm like, like even if it's just saving in the S&P 500, like you're still accelerating that money faster than just leaving it in the bank to $10,000. So you should have like a taste for some market. If you got into Bitcoin, you definitely got a taste for a market, because if you saving over the course of a year, you're getting to see the growth, you're getting to see the volatility, you're getting a taste of what's going on. You probably bought a meme coin, lost some money along the way, and then made it back somewhere else. You're starting to get, by the time you get to that 10, you should know or have a really good idea what to do with it. So your perspective changes. The opportunities that you have changed because of the magnitude. So now you might be able to get into, 10 $1,000 plays. Like you guys know how I do my plays. I'll throw $1,000 at it. Now you can do 10 plays. You went from being able to do one play to 10 plays. The magnitude of the investments change. You might be able to get into a down payment on a house. You might be able to, car hack, do some Toro. You might be able to go get a cash car and throw it on Toro and make some passive income that way. That's enough to start up a business. Like you can start an online trading company or an online shirt vendor or something. You got options at $10,000. So your options change. Now, when we get to the next episode, you start stepping into some different lanes with what you can do. So you guys definitely want to tap in for the next episode. I'll see you next week. We're going into bag fortification Friday. We do not fumble bags in the wolf pack. I'm going to give y'all, you get 2 bags to fumble this year. I'll give you 2 bags to fumble. Outside of that, we are fortifying the bag every Friday, because I'm assuming a lot of y'all get paid on Friday. If you're getting paid on Thursday today, then you know what? Fortify the bag on Thursday. But we are fortifying all bags. We're making decisions. Make sure that you are putting as much effort into your financial situation as you are at your job, because that's somebody else's financial situation. We got to take care of ourselves. Oh, Lord. Allergies, man. It warmed up. But yeah, until next week, we're going to leave it on that note. Make sure. I want to know, those of you, how many people do I have in the $10,000 gang? How many of you have been able to save up and have saved $10,000? And I'd like to know what changed for some of y'all when you saved up that $10,000 for the first time. What perspectives, what changed for you guys? Are you guys matching kind of my energy? Because everybody has a different experience, and I love hearing about it. Like, I might have to do, you know what I'm saying? We can have a conversation down in the comments, and that might end up becoming a piece of content in and of itself. So feel free to tap in. Let me know what changed for you at $10,000. It's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero, and I am out. I'll see you next week. Peace.
Money on my mind, yeah. Focus, got no time for games, nah. I don't play, man, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.